Welcome to Prep Session Economics. This time around, we'll be learning about economic systems. So, for us to learn this, first of all, we have to know what an economy is. We have to know types of economic systems. And lastly, analyze the problems of two major economic systems, capitalism, socialism. It's time for us to have the battle between Adam Smith and Karl Marx. So let's begin. What is an economy? An economy is a system through which a society produces, distributes, and consumes. Do you know how in the definition of economics earlier, we talked about the concept of economics, we talked about production, distribution, and consumption. These three concepts are very important to you. So we do all these things to satisfy human wants and their needs. So an economy is any space or any area, be it Wakanda, where you can achieve all these things. Very good. So let's move on. Now, talking about the systems of the economic systems that we have three types, and the first one we're going to talk about is a free market economy, aka capitalism. Of course, capital simply means money. Having money, a system that makes a lot of money. Number one is it is privately owned. It's owned by private individuals. It's not as if government is not involved. Government is just playing the role of a watchdog, making sure that competition is good, everything is fine, but majority of the businesses in that system or in that economy or country is owned by private individuals like you and I, your dad, and everyone around us. Number two, profit motive. And of course, we talked about that in business. The essence of starting a business at all is to make profit. That's the goal, that's the aim, that's the objective. And number three is price mechanism, which means that they rely on demand and supply to fix their prices. So think about this like bargaining. If I want to buy meat today, I go to the market and say I want to buy meat worth 3,000. The person tells me the meat is maybe 4,000, and I say, okay, I want to pay 3,500, and we keep bargaining until we get to the right price. But some of you might think, well, I don't do that in some stores like ShopRite, like Pick and Pay and the likes, but you still do that indirectly. We're going to talk about it later, not now when we're talking about price mechanism or the theory of price determination. But for now, we have to know that one of the key things about private business is that they compete. They compete a lot. And of course, competition is very good. It helps people to become better. And the last one is consumer sovereignty. Now, when they compete a lot, the person who enjoys from all this competition is the consumer, people like you. So do you know one of the reasons why your school is getting better? Because there are many other schools that you'll have gone to because there are alternatives to your current school. So let's talk about the next one, which is centrally planned economy. Now, this is talking about public ownership, contrast to the previous one we talked about. Now, this is owned majorly by the government. Government has more businesses. Think of this. You know all the filling stations around you. Imagine that most of it, if not all of it, are owned by government. Therefore, you have NNPC everywhere you look around, everywhere you go to buy petrol. Or think about this. Imagine there are very few private schools, and most schools, if not all schools, are public schools. Would that be good for you? Yes, it might be. It depends on the situation. Number two is centrally planned. Yes, government plans for the entire society. And of course, if government does that, there will be no price mechanism. Government will be the one to fix the prices of things, of goods and services. Trust me, that's a whole lot of good right now. Because there are a lot of things that prices are very up right now, and people are they're not enjoying this. If government were to be involved, government can set the price at the best price for everyone, convenient for the society. Number three, equal distribution, because the government thinks about us, thinks about everyone, thinks about the majority, whether it's the poor or the rich. So there's always some form of equity, some form of equality in society. Government thinks about welfareism. And last one is limited choices. Of course, government will have some things to be limited. For example, in demerit goods, government will have less demerit goods produced. Demerit good is any good that has negative consequences, that is bad in terms of its consumption. Example is a cigarette. If you buy a cigarette and you smoke one, it's a good, it's allowed for you to buy one, but it has negative consequences. Your lungs can be damaged, you could have cancer, you could be ill, or if anybody buys a gun today, why else would you buy a gun if it's not to kill someone or injure someone? Even if you say you're protecting yourself, you still have to injure somebody every time you fire a round. Very good. So we have learned about the two systems of economy, but we're not done with it. We'll also talk about mixed economy. So student case will feel these economic systems, they have some loopholes, they are bad. How about we mix them up and see if it can be better? Just like you mixing Coke and Fanta to give you a very good taste. Please don't do that. So private and public ownership. Imagine we have private firms and we have public businesses as well, combined together in one society, in one economy. That would be fantastic. Enough private, enough public. As private bring down the prices, public will also think about our welfare as people in society. Number two, we have government regulations, which means government is regulating everybody in society, making sure that there is fairness, there's no exploitation of consumers, everybody is doing business the right way. Because we all know, because of rationality, businesses will always move forward to exploit consumers by charging higher prices or by doing some things that would make them be better off and we worse off as consumers. Number three is price mechanism will still be in place. Yes, there will still be demand and supply working together as market forces to fix prices. Number four is social welfare, so which means everybody is still accounted for, being taken care of. So this is very important because some people do not have the means to take care of themselves, but the government have to look out for them by helping them. Number five is centrally planned economy, which means the economy is still planned properly. So this is a mixed economy. I can't really tell you if there are negative things to this, but what I want to say is most economies that you can think of across the world are now mixed economies because they have both the involvement of private businesses and also public businesses. I hope you get that. Very good. So let's talk about the problems of capitalism and socialism. Once again, this is the battle between Adam Smith, who is considered as the father of economics, and Karl Marx. Adam Smith was the one who thought about we having an invisible hand leading us to perfection, not like perfection, but efficiency in economics. So let's talk about this. Let's start with capitalism. Yes, in capitalism, the key negative part of it is exploitation. People are exploited. Okay, let's talk about your school. I'm not judging right now. Let's talk about your school. What does the school add to you or give you extra when they charge more school fees? What they really do to you? Like what they really offer? Let's talk about other businesses too around. Look around you. What do they really offer before your rent is increased? So exploitation of consumers through higher prices. Not only that, sometimes producers are kind of maybe dubious. I'll talk about this funny experience what I had in school. I don't know the name of the company, but now these days we have businesses making products for us, and it's just air that is inside. So when you like open the wrap of the food, you find out that there's so much air in it, and the chips or the food in it is just very small. Or even to maybe dairies, and the pack itself is big, but the content is small. That's towards exploitation. Number two is a wealth gap. Now, the gap between the rich and the poor will be increasing over time. Number three is market failures, where we have all kinds of things in society. We have excess demand, we have excess supply, and also high rate of unemployment. Now, but yes, capitalism is bad, but what about socialism? Over-dependence on the government. The government sometimes might be unreliable, and resource misallocation. Government spends so much of its budget, and at the end of the day, we don't see so much results from it. And bureaucracy, slowing down things, decision-making, bottlenecks, and last one is lack of innovation. And this is very common with public enterprises. Very good. So let's look at the questions that we have for this. Which of the following is the main feature of a capitalist economy? Can you spot the answer? Well, the answer is price determination by market forces. So you should be taking notes every time we're teaching so you can reflect on your notes before I even answer the question. It only helps you learn better. Number two, a major disadvantage of a socialist economy is that it leads to what exactly? It leads to high levels of unemployment, income inequality, lack of incentives for innovation, exploitation of workers. Do you think it is? The answer is C, lack of incentives for innovation. There isn't much to be done or changing in society. Then there's what we call economic complacency. Number three is, in a mixed economy, the government plays a role of what? What role does the government play in the economy? I said that before. Can you remember now? Okay, good. The answer is allowing free market forces with some regulation. So there's regulation there, but they allow the market to still adjust and determine prices. Number 4, a major criticism of a capitalist economy is that it leads to what? Is it full employment? Is it equal income distribution? Is it market failures and exploitation? Is it government inefficiency? So the answer, of course, is market failures and exploitation. We talked about that before. Remember the Chin Chin example, or I don't say the name of the company anyway. So let's go to number 5. One of the major causes of inefficiency in the socialist economy is what? The answer to this question is over-dependence on government planning. So when you depend on government, that means the society becomes less innovative. Everybody's living off government funds, living off government unemployment benefits. So all these things causes inefficiency in the society. We need to be driven, we need to be competitive to achieve efficiency in our economy. Number 6, which of the following is a common problem of all economic systems? Like all economies, all countries, what do you think is a major problem for them? Is it that they have unlimited resources? Or is it that they have economic scarcity? Or they have absence of choice? Or they have free goods? Yeah, free goods can never be it. The problem is scarcity. We don't have enough of things in the society. So if you go to every country today, things are scarce. Maybe food is scarce, maybe transport is scarce, maybe infrastructure is scarce, electricity is scarce, anything at all. Or most importantly, in most economies, I can tell you for today, prep station is scarce right now. They need more prep station in all these countries. Very good. So let's move on. Number 7. In a capitalist economy, what determines what goods are produced? Don't forget, what determines what goods are produced? Is it government policies, consumer demand and market forces? Is it trade union decisions or religious beliefs? Definitely not religious beliefs, because we're dealing with economics now. The answer is consumer demand and market forces. So let's go to number 8. A mixed economy combines elements of which of the following? If it's mixed economy, what is it combining together? Remember the Fanta and Coke example that you should never taste, but it's actually tasted that it's actually good. So let's see what the answer should be. Of course, we all know it should be both capitalism and socialism. Combine these two together, we have what we call mixed economy. Number 9, the economic question of how and what to produce is solely answered by what? The government, the private firms, both private and public enterprises, the system of economic practice. Well, the answer to that question is both private and public enterprises. They determine what is to be produced in every economy. They determine, should we produce roads? Should we produce biscuits? Should we produce more knowledge like Prep Station is doing? Should we produce more cameras? Should we produce more books? That's what they determine. Then the final question, collectivism refers to the system of managing state enterprises in a dash. So what do you think is the answer? Centrally planned economy, free market economy, mixed economy, all of the above. What do you think is the answer? Well, we all know it's centrally planned economy. So just to wrap up this lesson, what you need to understand here is in every country, there are different economy system that is being practiced. It could be capitalism, where we have majorly private ownership of the factors of production. It could be socialism, where the government owns most of the factors of production. And it could be a mixed economy like we have in Nigeria, where both government and private firms or businesses or investors exist together, and they combine efforts to make sure that you and I have goods and services for our basic needs or for our extensive needs, and we also have good welfare system, we have amenities, we have everything we need to be a proper economy involved in production, distribution, and consumption. I hope you've learned so much today. I don't want to say just a few things, but you can always recommend this video to your friends. So you can always watch this again over and over and leave questions even in the comments, and we'll always respond to that. So good, we're going to take a break now and come back to more fantastic knowledge about economics.